Good afternoon, champs. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is November the 5th. A lot of you would have gotten conditional offers by now from the University of Cape Town. Congratulations on that. What I'm going to be touching on is the Bachelor of Business Science in Actuarial Science, the Bachelor of Commerce in Actuarial Science, both specializing in actuarial science as well as quantitative finance. And I'll also be touching on the EDU or augmented programs as they have it in the current handbook. So I'm looking at the 2022 handbook, and I'm speaking to UCT specifically because I graduated from UCT. So that's pretty much all I know, and I've had a few questions in my past videos about this. I'm going to touch a bit on the courses, what the difference between the program is, and so that you can have a better understanding of your conditional offer and hopefully your final offer after the matric results come up. So all the best to everyone currently writing, and congratulations if you landed that conditional offer. And I hope you meet the conditions and you get to join the UCT family next year. Let's get started. Okay, so the Bachelor of Business Science is what it looks like. It's a 4-year program. It has honors within it, right? I want to touch a bit on what you can expect in each course. They've renamed a lot of the courses since I started and since I graduated, so I may not be 100% sure, especially if they've added new courses, so I'll do my best. All right, so firstly, you've got your financial accounting, right? So we've got Finance 1 and Finance 2. You'll see Finance 1, Accounting 1. So you'll see Accounting 1. So the F means that it's a first semester course. So it's the first, 4 or 5 months of the year. And then S means it's a second semester course. So that will be after you come back from your June or July break. And then you've got W, which means it's a whole year course. And then you've got an H, which typically means it's a half year course. That usually means it's less credits, right? Okay, so I'm going to start with financial accounting. So that's typically your accounting from high school. So it's called Accounts 1A, apologies. And what they do there, because actuarial science is in commerce, but it doesn't require that you have accounting background, they will split the accounting class into priors and non-priors. So priors are essentially people who've done accounting in high school, so they have prior knowledge of accounting, and non-priors are people who haven't done accounting in high school, coming from your science streams or elsewhere, and they would be in a non-prior class. So those two groups are treated separately so that the non-prior class can get more special attention because they have no prior knowledge as it states. So those classes are typically separate in Accounts 1, and then in Accounts 2, which is not Accounts 2, sorry, in 1B, which is the ACC 2011S, which is Financial Reporting 1. The classes are usually together. They don't separate them. And the thinking is that finance or financial accounting, which is Accounts 1, sort of gives you an overview of the grade 10, 11, and 12, accounting from high school, whereas financial reporting is pretty, new to everyone else. And when you get to Accounts 1B, everyone sort of has the same level of a base from finance, Accounts 1, which is financial accounting. So they don't split the class in Accounts 1B. Everyone is sort of on the same level. So for actuarial science specifically, you need to get 60% across the two in order to move into, fin maths and to continue with the accounting stream. And then you've got evidence-based management. So I did very well in evidence-based management and in accounting, but evidence-based management is critical thinking. It's a lot of essay work. A lot of kids, or a lot of students rather, don't like it because it's sort of different to the numerative style or courses that they're used to. And I think how to prepare for EBM, we used to shorten to EBM, is to work with people and really engage in your lectures so that there's less work to do afterwards. Don't put it at the end and don't dismiss it simply because you don't enjoy it, because it's one of those courses that you don't want to have to repeat. So I think if you pay enough attention in class, then you actually have to spend less time on it at home, and then you can focus on your core courses. Then we've got Computer Science 1005. So Computer Science 1005 is intros to computer science. You'll typically be doing this with people who specialize in computer science. And what ComSci is introduction, like I said. So in our year, we did Python. So it was introduction to computer science, and it was Python. I think to best prepare for that is to work in groups. And if you haven't done programming before, try and do the tutorials with people. Try and work at the labs. I know the science labs are filled with comp sci majors, second year, third year people who are more than willing to look at why your code isn't running. Try to avoid copying people's work, because then you're not going to understand, and you're basically setting yourself up for failure, because come April when you write your first exam and come June when you write, you realize you don't know anything, and then you can't copy. So try and keep up with the tutorials, try and work in groups. I prefer to work in the Comp Sci lab when I was doing Comp Sci 1, because I found that there were more resources that I could pull from, because we were all working on the same projects if we were first year, and then second years were more than willing, to assist with a question here and there. But try and understand, because Comp Sci is a very practical course, and it builds, right? So if you don't understand one chapter, it's going to be difficult for you to, understand future chapters. So just try and work with people on that one. Microeconomics 1010F. So that's economics. You don't need to have done economics in high school. I didn't do economics in high school. I ended up doing very well in this course. It's multiple choice, so it was in our year. What was the book? Something et al. Yeah, so the course content itself is not difficult. It's just a lot of remembering, a lot of understanding the concepts, but you have to practice to do well in this course, you have to practice a lot of multiple choice questions. I think that's the key. Other than that, you just have to sit down at your desk, just do past papers and past papers. Because if you read the content and then you just go into a test, it's a whole different world. So read the content and your lecture slides, do past exam papers, and then see how well you're doing in your tutorials. That's usually a good guideline of how you're going to do in the test. The commerce case study, I'm not familiar with. I don't want to, speak on that one. We didn't have that in my year. Mathematics 1 or MAM 1000W, that's the mathematics one that as an actuarial science major, you need to get 70% in. It was a really tough course, especially coming from NSC, National Senior Certificate, having not done, advanced program maths. So I struggled a bit with that. So what I did there is I decanted. That was one question that I came up on my channel. Did I do MAM 1006 or did I do MAM 1000? So I did MAM 1000 up until the decanting test, which came in April, and I didn't do great over there. I passed, but I decided to do the math over 2 years, and I split it. Because I just felt a bit ill-prepared. I knew I would pass, but I didn't know that I would get the 70%, which would allow me to go into second year actuarial science. I also had funding constraints, so I had to do well so that I could secure a bursary for second year, because my first year was, funded by UCT because I was the missing middle, and my mom had to contribute a significant portion of my fees. So for me, doing well was more important than finishing record time, so I had to make a decision. And I'm 27 now, and I can promise you, in my, on my transcript, I have, of course, MAM 1006 and MAM 1005, but on my degree certificate, it doesn't say, I decanted. It doesn't say how long I took to finish the program. For me, the importance was finishing, so that's something that you have to, sit with. And maybe you can come back to this video when next year you get your decanting test, or, after your first test with MAM 1000, and then you can, think through it, and feel free to ask. I'm happy to help. Introduction to financial risk. So intros, we used to call it Introduction to Actuarial Science, has 4 modules. It basically takes you through the aspects of actuarial science. We had a contingencies section. We had a financial math section. We had, I forget the other 2, but I know we also had an ethics section, and assets. We had an assets section, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, it takes you through all the 4 aspects of financial risk, which is now what it's called, but what used to be actuarial science. Very high level, but it's calculator intensive, and it gives you like a core understanding of future actuarial science modules. Then you've got financial reporting 1, which I spoke to, which is linked to financial accounting. That's in second semester, as you'll see. So intro to financial risk is an H, but it's a half-year course, but that's because of the credits, which are 18, but you do it across the year, right? And then MAM 1, which is MAM 1000W, is a 36 credit course, and that's also a whole year course. But you'll see it's double the courses that the intros is. And then you've got macroeconomics, which which is it goes with Eco's 1010F, which is microeconomics. So macroeconomics, same thing. I thought to best prepare for that, you would do a lot of past papers, read your content, keep up with lectures. A lot of people tend to slack on, especially actuarial science, slack on financial accounting, and they slack on macro and microeconomics because it's not your core major. But what you're missing is those are exemption courses, and you want to get them out of the way. They're probably two of the easiest exemptions that you can get in varsity. So you want to get those over the way and get your 60% and move on. Mathematical Statistics 1, so that's Stats 1006. I don't know if Melusi still teaches that, but yes, I still remember stars and bars, Melusi. Intros to Statistics, how I think to best prepare for that is, especially if you're new to statistics, work with people, go to all the tutorials, go to all the lectures, and of course practice. Mathematics is theoretical, right? So MAM 1 is theoretical. Statistics is an applied mathematics. You understand? It's applied mathematics. So you have to apply, the mathematics to the statistical problems. That's by nature of the subject. So you have to do a lot of practice. You have to do a lot of understanding why I didn't get this program right. Why did I go wrong in the first line of this proof? Or why did I go wrong in the first line of this question? So once you understand, after you've gotten a test, after you've gotten a tutorial, why you got it incorrect, that means that you're going to have a better understanding of what principle to apply next time. Because like I said, mathematical statistics is an applied science. So just be mindful of that. And then I'm going to go to second year courses for all my second year people who got the 60s in ecos and accounting and who got the 70 in maths and stats, and now you're second year actuarial science students. Congratulations. So in second year, we've got your business law. So business law is mostly law, but it's mostly a lot of writing. I enjoyed the lectures because the lecturer was different to the XI lecturers, and it was a completely different world for me, and it's a lot of discussion in the class. So I enjoyed that because it's different and it engaged sort of a different part in my mind. Microeconomics 2, a bit like microeconomics 1, but there was a bit more theory over there, a bit more graphs, and the tests weren't all, multiple choice writing. Over there, what you could do is there was some written parts, so that was quite nice to see if you understand the work a bit better. Again, put in work in your biz law, put in work in your microeconomics, because they're not difficult courses, but if you don't put in the work, then you're going to find yourself struggling with non-core, courses that aren't your majors, and that's going to make you very upset. And then you've got statistical theory and inference, Stats 204F. So I think Professor Christina taught this. Professor Fiat taught this. She taught us about this toolbox of statistics, where you've got a toolbox, and that's what you're learning in 204. You're learning, tools that you're going to put in your toolbox that you're going to use for future stats courses. So it is one of the most important statistical courses that you will do, besides your intro to stats in first year, because statistical theory and inference is what you take up into third year statistics, which is one of the most difficult stats courses that I've ever done. You understand? So pay attention there. Make sure you understand each and everything, because from there it just builds. And then you've got MAM 2 or MAM 2000. So MAM 2000 was split into 4 modules. You see, it's quite a heavyweight with 48 credits. So it's split into 4. We had linear algebra, we had advanced calculus, we had real analysis, and then we had differential equations. So those are the 4 modules. They were tough. A lot of the lecturers were foreign lecturers, so you had to get beyond the accent to the material, and they were very abstract. So I think to best prepare for that is to, again, work with people. MAM 2000 is the core math that the math majors are working on. You're just doing it so you can get your 50%. So try and work with people who spend a lot of their time doing the mathematics to see if you can actually, gain from them, because they will typically spend more time on it, which means that they will have more time to engage with the material and better understanding of it, and maybe you can leverage off of that. Now, I'm not saying be a bloodsucker and hang out with them and don't contribute anything, don't go to tutorials. That's not going to work for you. But try and liaise with people who are going to take MAM 3, because they tend to have a better understanding of the MAM 2. It's very abstract, it requires a lot of time, so play around with that and be aware of that going into it. Then you've got Actuarial Science 1, Financial Mathematics. So FinMaths, Dr. Shaw, Madam Vora teaches that. One of the most challenging courses I ever had. I was using the Discovery sponsored HP calculators, but now I've moved to the BA2 Plus, which I bought for myself, and this is what I'm using for my actuarial exams right now. It was challenging. It required you to sit and practice a lot. Very high level, understanding was needed. A lot of proofs, a lot of show. But past papers really helped, and I got it over the line first time. Past papers, and going to your tutorials, engaging with your tutors. I used to really not like my tutors, because you'd get to the tutorial and you would work out a solution, and you would ask the tutor why is this wrong, and he would be like, what do you think? So my tutors were Chanti Matebula and I remember Stuart. I forget his surname now. But they went on to be great scholars. I mean, they ended up getting the Discovery Awards in their respective years, and they worked at Discovery and then moved on. I think Stuart is still there, but Chanti's moved on. So they were wonderful people, but I always used to get so upset with them, because if I don't know why I got it wrong and I'm asking you, why are you asking me what I think? But that was Fin Maths, and then Macroeconomics 2, same as Microeconomics 2, bit of written work. I quite enjoyed this one actually, because it spoke about global, effects, and it helped you understand what is happening on a macroeconomy, the exchange rate, and why things are linked to the first world countries. And it just makes you appreciate that in South Africa we've got a first world country while we're in the third world, which is why we're so fortunate to be in a degree like this, because it affords you access to the rest of the world simply by studying a degree like this, and the nature of the first world country type of financial services we have on offer here. And then financial management. Okay, so that's Finance 1. So Finance 1, a lot of the actuarial science kids didn't bother with, except the ones that wanted to specialize in quantitative finance, which I'll touch on next. So it's one of those courses that it's not difficult, but it requires a bit of time. Again, here I'd suggest maybe, going to tutorials really frequently and making friends with the finance and ecos majors, because they tend to be more invested in these courses. Again, you can leverage off of that. And then you've got linear models, which is Stats 2005S. So Dr. Birgit Ernie taught this course. I used to really like her. She's very passionate about the p-value. So I enjoyed my time there. Stats 205, it was one of the, I don't want to say easier stats courses, but it was different, right? It was a different stats course, more practical in nature, so I quite enjoyed that. So that's second year courses. I'm going to go to third year courses. So in third year, you've got XI2, which is models. So that's models and survival analysis now in the ASA definition. You've got people management, which is a course that a lot of the XI kids didn't like. It's a very soft skill. It's a very discussion based. It's very similar to your biz law courses. So people management. Let me give you an example of a people management course, so you have a better understanding of what to expect. Sarah, you are Sarah's manager. Sarah is late for work 3 times this week. On your third time, how do you approach Sarah with the project? With the problem? Do you speak to her in front of fellow colleagues and demand she explain why she was late and if she has a sick note? Do you pull her aside and try and understand her situation and how she can remedy it in future? And then it's not just a yes or no, because the answer here is pretty obvious, right? You speak to Sarah separately and you try and understand where she's coming from, but they have to explain and what measures are you going to put in place that if Sarah says she's not going to be late again and she is late, what are you going to do, etc., etc. It's very soft skills, very management skills, as it suggests. It's one of those courses that you want to get out of and you don't want to have to repeat, so put some time in the lectures and then you should be fine. Stochastic processes and time series, Stats 3041F. It was tough. It was so tough that I had to come back and do it again. So Stats 3041, like it says, it's time series and stochastic processes. There's a lot of R in it, so make sure you understand that, the programming aspect of things. Don't copy people's code. Don't copy people's data. I mean, the data is personalized to your student number in any event. So try and familiarize yourself with the programming. The lecturers are usually very helpful here, so are the tutors. Don't skip tutorials. Your tutors are here to help you. That's how you can best prepare for that one. Stats 3045F. This course nearly killed me. So we had Dr. Miguel Lacerda. Look up the past papers. So we had him teaching at the time. He has since left. I'm not sure who's taking over it now. So you've got diffusion processes, etc., etc. I thought it was, one of the most difficult courses I've ever done. It's very abstract. It requires a lot of time. It requires working with people because you might not understand it and they understand it. I was failing tutorials and obviously I was failing tests. Obviously nothing changes in the exam. So just be mindful of that. If you're not doing well in your tutorials, you're not doing well in your tests, you're not going to do well in the exam. Nothing's going to change. So just try and get a grip on that early on as possible and seek help as soon as you can. Those are all F courses. Now we're going to second semester. You've got XI 2, which is your contingencies. You've got your business ethics. So business ethics is also like a very soft, course. A lot of people also didn't like it. Very biz law, very people management. But again, put in the time, get the mark, get out. If you pay attention in class, you shouldn't, struggle with that. Intro to machine learning is new. I can't speak to that, but it's probably some R programming. And then you've got statistical modeling and Bayesian analysis. That is also new. I also can't speak to that. I'm going to go into the 4th year course, and then I'm going to end the video here. And then in the next, video, I'm going to touch on the one who specialize in quantitative finance, and then I'm also going to speak to the EDU, and then I'm going to do further videos on BCom. I didn't realize it was going to be so long, and I know you guys have very short attention spans. So the 4th year courses, you've got XI 3, which is Fin Ecos. I think Dr. Shaw teaches a portion of this. I didn't do it. I really can't speak to it. Then you've got XI 3, which is Actuarial Risk Management, ARM, 54 weighting, heavyweight. Again, can't speak to it. I didn't do honors. I only did the 3-year degree. Strategic Thinking, 36 course. Actuarial Research Project, that's of course your thesis, 36. Professional Communication, Actuarial Science. It says Actuarial Science here because other degrees also do Profcom, but not this one because this one is for exemption with ASA, so they separate it out. Those are the total credits for the year. This is Actuarial Science, Bachelor of Business Science, specializing in actuarial science at the University of Cape Town. I'm going to end the video here. Hit me up with questions. Tell me what year you're in. Tell me what you're studying. Tell me what courses you enjoy. Tell me what lecturers you're chatting with. Tell me what resources you just discovered before it was too late, so that others can touch base with them. I mean, there's Hot Seat for maths. There's tutoring for statistics. So let us know in the chat so that everyone is on the same page, so that we can conquer this degree and everyone can graduate and be, a quant in SA or an actuarial analyst in SA or a data scientist in SA. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you for watching. I'm out.